It's the show so nice, we're doing it twice. On this bonus episode of Card Subject to Change, the trio welcome back the voice of SCW Pro, Tim Regal, to talk all about WrestleMania. Does this mean we can call this episode RegalMania? We deep dive into the card of both nights of the show of shows, so let's jump right in. Here's the Honorable Nick Bull.
And welcome to a bonus episode of the Card Subject to Change podcast. I am the Honorable Nick Bull. I missed the previous show here, recording some bonus content for us listeners. Joining us here, the Wizard CZ, and of course, our guest of honor. This is, I guess, would this be night 2 of RegalMania? Since this is the second
night
episode
2 of RegalMania. I love it.
Tim, you guys talked about independent wrestling and WrestleMania weekend earlier. I know there was a couple more things that you didn't get to address on the show, so I'm going to throw it to you right now. You wanted to talk about GCW and then the Effie's Big Gay Brunch.
Yeah, the two shows we didn't get to on the previous show. I mentioned Effie's Big Gay Brunch, and then we forgot to mention about For the Culture, which are both late night. For the Culture is a late night show, I want to say, on Thursday. So I'll be checking that one out on Friday morning because due to the time differential, the late night shows are going to be about 2 a.m., starting about 2 a.m. our time. So West Coast Mania, not copacetic for time. CZ, you got the cards for those at all? Because again, with me having no internet, I'm using the phone or mobile data for this.
I think For the Culture is actually, is it on Friday night?
I am searching for it right now. I'm on the website
because
here.
I want to say Friday night, Vikingo's got double duty, does he not, Tim?
I believe so, because he's got
as
the spring break match. He's got the Super Card of Honor match. Is it Thursday? It's either Thursday or Friday, because one of them is emo. The other one is emo fight, which is a complete mystery vortex like show for GCW that is centered all around like emo music and emo culture from the early 2000s, which was a super fun show that they did last year in New York City. We don't have a card for that one at all. But yes, Big Gay Brunch I know is Saturday morning.
And then I can find the card for. I'm not seeing the other one as I scroll through.
Yeah,
which is
I am
weird.
efforting that other card right now. Because I know For the Culture, I want to say Vikingo's on that for sure. There was a couple other lucha matches. That'd be For the Culture 4. That is on the 30th. That is Thursday.
Okay, so Thursday. So Thursday, Friday morning, our time, about 2 o'clock in the morning. But I'll be checking that one out when I wake up on Friday morning, probably. But yeah, the card for that is pretty stacked. It's obviously For the Culture, all African American talent. In 2020 in Indianapolis, I saw that show. It was one of the most amazing wrestling shows I've seen. Top Flight was on that show. Got to see Too Cold Scorpio versus Suge D. But yeah, the lineup for this one is absolutely loaded.
Nick, you've got the card in front of you. Why don't you help Mr. Regal out? Give him some matches.
I am really trying, but there has not been much announced for this card.
Let me take a quick look here. Hold on.
I am hitting all these resources I have, getting into it, and there's nothing really announced for this card other than I've seen a poster for it.
I'm finding it now. Jesus, so many shows I'm scrolling through.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
I've got it. For the Culture, you have Too Cold Scorpio taking on Brian Keith, the bounty hunter.
Ooh, okay.
Too Cold Scorpio, obviously the veteran, the ultimate veteran, still doing it at a high level. 8-person tag match. You have Team West Coast of Kenny King, G Sharp, Maserati, Alpha Zoe, and Midas Creed versus the world team of Suge D, AC Mack, Jocelyn Navarro, Lucky Ali, and Jeffrey John. Suge D, one of the ultimate journeyman in professional wrestling. Some people may remember him from his AEW stint as Pineapple Pete.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
AC Mack, to me, one of the most underrated guys in American professional wrestling. Had a long reign with the IWTV Independent Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Just an amazing talent on the microphone. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. But yeah, that should be a banger of an 8-man. Anything goes match. Billy Dixon versus Willie Mack. Billy Dixon, a guy I absolutely love. And Willie Mack, you've seen him on Lucha Underground, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor. He's just a guy who's everywhere. Triple threat, Man Like Darius versus Myron Reed out of St. Louis. Guy who's actually been through the area a couple times. Wrestles a lot in the state of Iowa. Versus LA Dojo's Kevin Knight. We talked about Kevin Knight on the previous show. LA Dojo guy that I think is really set for a big breakout weekend. Then you got a scramble match. Ashton Starr, Judas, Faye Jackson, Devon Monroe, Darius Carter, Keita Murray, Teriyaki, and Isaiah Bromer. Ashton Starr, great talent. Faye Jackson, Mama Faye, I absolutely love. If you've seen Faye Jackson, there's just an amazing talent, amazingly entertaining performer. Devon Monroe, out of Minnesota, wrestles a lot in the Midwest, wrestles for First Wrestling. Black Excellence, great talent. Darius Carter, great talent. Keita Murray, California, out of California, just super athletic. Teriyaki, super high flying. We've seen him a couple times on TCW. And Isaiah Broner, out of AIW in Cleveland, a super hard hitting wrestler. And then, so all the talent in that match is great. Pan African World Championship, Trish Adora versus Calvin Tankman. Like we talked about Calvin Tankman, super in the previous show, super hard hitting. And Trish Adora, one of the best female talents in the world. That show is absolutely loaded. So, like I said, it's going to start at 2 a.m. our time, so probably not checking it out live, but I'll be checking that one out probably Friday morning.
Man, it sure feels like there's going to be wrestling 24 hours a day for the next 5 days once the show drops on the internet here. a lot of great content. That sounds like an amazing show. I've got the card for Effie's Big Gay Brunch in front of me here. We'll just kind of go through. I'll let you talk about the matches there. So we've got Ashton Starr, Becca, Rico Gonzalez, Aaron Rourke, and Dylan McQueen taking on, Deshad, Abigail Warren, Anton Voorhees, Fabricio, and Marco Meyer. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Mauer, but
Mauer.
This is the East Coast versus West Coast tag match. Dylan McQueen, who we've seen in New South, we've seen him a lot on AEW Dark. A guy I just love Dylan. I love Dylan McQueen. Aaron Rourke out of Beyond Wrestling. Rico Gonzalez, who's been all over South First on IWTV, on Uncharted Territory. Same with Becca, all over the East Coast and the Southeast, all the way up to the upper north of the East Coast. A lot in Beyond Wrestling. Same with Ashton Starr, just a Southeast. Apparently, it's kind of like a Southeast First versus the West Coast match. Should be a fantastic tag match. And then the next match, I am super looking forward to.
Is that the Kid Bandit versus Sawyer Wreck match?
Yes, Kid Bandit, the protagonist of professional wrestling. I've seen Kid Bandit do absolutely last year in an absolutely insane match in Chicago, taking on Pero in an Anything Goes match. Kid Bandit got their back just slammed onto a bunch of unfolded chairs, and I thought their spine was just going to be crushed. Sawyer Wreck also a person known to take it to the extreme, so I can only imagine what that match is going to get into.
With all this wrestling on the horizon, it's definitely a marathon, not a sprint. And we talk a lot about these late night shows not really favoring us in the Midwest, with everything being on the West Coast. Let's flip the switch here a little bit, Tim. We have Tim Regal here, Card Subject Change bonus episode, as we discuss as we are approaching WrestleMania here. Maybe the biggest loser on this weekend, can we say that, is possibly NXT, just for the time of the show. And probably most people are going to skip it knowing that WrestleMania starts right after it, and after probably a late night Friday. I feel bad for this show. I feel like they've put together a good card, but just the timing of everything and the fact that WrestleMania is now 2 days, NXT kind of gets buried.
Yeah, NXT going at 9:45 a.m., 10 a.m. on the broadcast local time in California. Noon start time for us. That's gonna be an insane. That's gonna be a weird thing to watch NXT take NXT card in the middle, literally the middle of the day.
I've got the card right here in front of me, and they've, despite the fact that it's not at the most ideal time, they have put together a very interesting card. In no particular order, we've got Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller. This is the stipulation is an unsanctioned match. For the NXT Championship, we have Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes. We have the ladder match for the NXT Women's Championship. It's currently taken off Roxy after the health scare. It's Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Tiffany Stratton, Lila, Valkyra, and Indy Hartwell. We also have the tag match for NXT Women's Championship, Fallon Henley and Kiana James versus Alba Fire, Isla Dawn. A 5-way for the North American, Wesley, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Ilya Dragunov, Axiom. That might be my match I'm looking forward to most on the card. The triple threat tag match between Gallus, the current champs, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, versus the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius, and versus the D'Angelo family, Tony D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzo. And the 8-person mixed tag team match, the winners gain control of Chase University. This might be the biggest stipulation of the weekend, tongue-in-cheek. Chase University, Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, and Thea Hale, and Tyler Bate versus the team of Schism, Joe Gacy, Jagger Reed, Rip Fowler, and Ava. So not a bad card put together for NXT Stand and Deliver. It's just the timing of it all does not bode well for this show.
So I'm going to be honest, I haven't been watching NXT religiously like I used to. A lot of this stuff, some of it doesn't land for me. I will tell you straight out, that tag match the tag team title triple threat does nothing for me.
I'm right there with you, Tim.
For years, I have made the joke of, I wish I loved something as much as Triple H loves Gallus. I don't know what it is with why he loves Gallus as much as he does. I think they're boring as watching paint dry. But everything else on that card, I'm at least somewhat interested in. I think Schism is just, I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Does anyone?
I don't think anybody does.
At this point, to me, it's a vehicle to get The Rock's daughter on TV.
Yeah.
I am a fan of Thea Hale, and I do like Andre Chase. So, and has there been anyone who's had a drop off to the level that Tyler Bate has?
Ooh.
You're right. I mean, he was at one time the NXT UK champion, and I guess many thought he probably would get a main roster call up sooner rather than later, right? But that really never came. And then when he was in with Trent Seven, right?
Yeah.
As Mustache Mountain.
Yeah.
And that really didn't go quite as far as it could have.
Yeah. At one point, Tyler Bate was having match of the year candidates with Pete and Walter and all the NXT UK guys. And then just somewhere along the way, it just completely fell off. And I mean, he's just kind of thrown in as the fourth member of the Chase University team for some reason. Yeah, that match.
Kind of like an afterthought, isn't he?
Yeah.
At this point?
Yeah, kind of like an early 90s Survivor Series team, right?
Yeah.
So,
but you're right, he is kind of an afterthought.
Nick, you mentioned main roster call-ups. I want to mention, you got to imagine the person who comes away not holding the NXT title is due to be called up to the main roster. And I don't know how you guys feel, but I personally think that Carmelo Hayes is due to win the title and Braun Breaker is due to move up. What do you guys think?
I think they're both ready to move up, so I think you could go either way. I think Carmelo has made star potential if you package him up right. I am not entirely sold on Braun Breaker. There's just something there that just it's not connected with me the way I hoped it would. Obviously, you will not find many bigger Scott Steiner fans than me.
Whoa. There's one right here. CZ.
Hi.
Let's just say I definitely know the math. I'll put it that way.
Kindred spirit right there. I love it.
But yeah, Braun, I just worry about what can he handle, the big spotlight. We've seen him on NXT, and obviously they've pushed him to the and he's been marketed well, but we've seen the guys on NXT that have been pushed to the moon and marketed well, I'll throw Karrion Kross out there. Just it hasn't connected on the main roster.
And when his first main roster run happened, that you completely got to blame Vince on. He didn't know what to do with Karrion, but this run, I don't know what they're doing with it. I don't think they know what to do with him. I agree. It's he was built so huge on NXT, and then to get ruined by Vince and then come back to what we thought would be a strong showing, and now he's kind of just gotten swept under the rug. You got to wonder what's going on with him there.
Going back to your question, CZ, when you asked about Carmelo and Braun, I think Braun's going to retain because I think Carmelo's going up. I think when I look at those two, I think Carmelo's more main roster ready. He just has it. And when Tim says he doesn't like Braun Breaker as much as he thought he would, I know exactly what you mean. It just almost seems like this every time he's out there, it's almost the same match. And for me, he really hasn't turned the corner. Carmelo Hayes, to me, he doesn't need that NXT title. I hope they have big plans for him on the main roster, because I think he is going to be something really big. I mean, I think, along the lines of MVP, but bigger, from the early to mid 2000 SmackDown days. I think he's got it. And I think they need to get him up on the main roster ASAP. So I see Breaker retaining in that match.
Yeah. The match on this show that I'm looking forward to is that North American title scramble. I think they're going to blow those guys are going to blow the doors off. All those guys are super athletic. I'm a huge, I can't wait to see. This is going to be the coming out party for Dragon Lee, obviously.
Yes.
Axiom's shown what he can do. If you haven't, go back and watch the Axiom match with Nathan Frazier. I was actually really hoping Nathan Frazier was going to be the fifth guy in the match. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. No, with the exception of JD Mick, don't Google me. Everybody in that, I love everybody in that match. So, and as much as I dislike him for reasons, JD McDonough is super athletic and will carry his weight in that match. So,
yeah, this match it's the one I'm looking forward to probably most on the card as well. I forgot to mention that Stand and Deliver is hosted by Pretty Deadly. So, I'm
yes,
sure
boy.
they'll get involved at some point. I'm so disappointed they're not wrestling on the card. But besides that, I guess they're the host. But Tim, I agree with you. I think this is Dragon Lee's coming out party. This is maybe how Vikingo met the mainstream the other night. This is how Dragon Lee meets the mainstream in the U.S. audience. I'm hoping for big things. I open the show with this match if I'm Shawn Michaels and company.
Yeah, I think opener as well.
I think that North American Championship has been the belt to watch on NXT, honestly, for the last couple of years, because Breaker's held the main title, and like you guys said, he's just kind of the same. It seems like it's the same thing. Rinse and repeat every time you see him. Of course, I can't talk about the NXT card and not bring up Johnny Gargano. He's my boy. He's coming back after Grayson Waller attacked him when he left to go on essentially paternity leave. I didn't like Grayson Waller at first. He's really grown on me as both an in-ring talent as well as someone on the mic. I think that's going to be a great match too. I would put that as the second best match on the card, honestly.
Yeah, and Waller's been such a personality, but people don't understand. He can really go when he wants to go. If you've ever seen any of his stuff from his pre-WWE days, for like PWA in Australia, a few other places, he can wrestle, and I think Johnny is going to go in there, and they're going to have an absolute killer match. Obviously, he was Johnny Takeover for a reason, so.
I love Grayson Waller's rolling cutter coming from outside of the ring, and then he hits his opponent. I think that is one of the best moves in pro wrestling today, in my opinion. I love it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And like I said, Johnny Takeover. I always go back to the one match, Takeover San Antonio. Johnny Gargano versus Andrade for the title is one of my favorite like modern WWE matches of all time. So
hell yeah.
I'm writing that one down. NXT Takeover, Andrade, and what takeover was that?
It was San Antonio before Survivor Series or Royal Rumble. I cannot remember.
San Antonio.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's your match of the week, folks. Go check it out.
No, I'm always looking for when somebody says, "Hey, I really like this match. It's one of my favorites," and you said it's one of your favorite modern WWE matches. Absolutely, I'll go watch it. So, I love that fact. I wanted to ask you a question real quick, Regal. By the way, thank you for tuning in here to the bonus episode of RegalMania 2, part of the Carded Subject to Change podcast here. What's the mindset you think of a Johnny Gargano when presented with this match? Hey, we don't have a spot for you on Mania, but we need you down in NXT and probably going to have the biggest match or second biggest match on the card. What do you think he's feeling not being a part of the Mania thing, but still being a part of the weekend in some capacity?
Johnny's a great wrestler, and he loves. And obviously, I've known Johnny for a long time, back to AIW. He feuded with the Shane Hollister and Seth Rollins in his early days. He wrestled at Dreamwave Wrestling back in the day. So, I mean, I've watched Johnny for pretty much his entire career. Johnny loves professional wrestling, and he loves being able to go out there and compete. And obviously, like I said, he's been Johnny Takeover. Obviously, yeah, hey, not everybody gets to have the big match on the Mania card. Maybe next year, maybe the year after, maybe Johnny's time will come. Obviously, I'll just say it. As far as WWE goes, Johnny Gargano has a few things that work against him.
Sure.
His height, his size, but they know he can go out there on an NXT takeover and put on a banger. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do with Grayson Waller. This is probably going to be to help elevate Grayson Waller a little bit higher, get him a little bit more ready, a little bit more seasoning. Obviously, they see something in Waller. The guy's got the charisma and can work the mic. And I think they're really going to show in this match that he can go bell to bell. So I think for Johnny, I think he's okay. I mean, obviously, everybody wants to have the Mania main event, but
Sure.
I think he knows where his role is and he knows where his talents are, and I think that's where he is going to go out there and just deliver the best match he can deliver.
And as the unsanctioned match on the card, almost guaranteeing it to be the main event or the closing match of the show. So in due turn, he is main eventing a WrestleMania show or weekend show, just not WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You guys have any more thoughts on Stand and Deliver before we approach the big kahuna?
One quick one, I will say, I do very much enjoy the Fallon Henley, Kiana Chance, the trying to steal the bar storyline.
Is there a name of that bar? It's always a backstage segment, but it looks like everybody's having the time of their life at that bar.
I feel like every fiber of my being says that everything about me as a wrestling fan says I should hate this, but I don't. It's so much. It's cheesy, but it's fun. I love the levels, the level of layers they've actually put. Somebody's actually put some thought into this storyline, so I do find it quite entertaining.
Oh man, hey, Tim, you tell us a great match, one of your favorite WWE modern matches, and then you give us your guilty pleasure in the same take. That's what we love to have here on the show.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
The bar story. Oh man, I hope we get to see it. I hope we get to see it on Saturday. That'd make it even better.
What would happen if somebody tried to come in and steal Lopez?
Oh my. Who would that be? Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. What SCW star is going to come in and steal Lopez?
Probably Connor Braxton because he ruins everything.
That's where my mind went to. That is right where my mind went to.
Braxton.
So let's move on. We've got a 2-night big show of shows, WrestleMania. A lot of matches on the card, not as many as in years past with 2 nights, but still should be a fantastic broadcast on both shows. Obviously, we're going to start right at the beginning. It's been announced that Austin Theory and John Cena are opening the show with that United States Championship on the line. I personally would have liked to see the U.S. title go to somebody else to be defended on the show because I don't think this match needs it. But what are your thoughts on Theory versus Cena, Regal?
Obviously, I mean, any chance you get to see John Cena wrestle in a WWE match at this point, I mean, it's John Cena. He's a legend. He's a star. And coming out of the gate with him to start it out is actually, I think, the right move because in the Peacock era, you're trying to hook those people. They're just flipping through Peacock and they say, oh, hey, this WrestleMania thing is on. I know what WrestleMania is. I'll check this out. And they flip it on, and the first thing they see is John Cena. The first thing they see is the Peacemaker, Jacob Toretto, all of the things that he's doing.
The dad comedy movie with Marky Mark and Will Ferrell. Right,
yeah,
right.
He obviously Cena's got Fast Next coming out. Obviously, Peacemaker's a big deal. Everybody, John Cena is one of the guys. Obviously, let's be honest. We all know that the plan originally for LA was to try to get The Rock. Obviously,
Right.
the reason Rock decided he didn't want to do it. But getting Cena and then throwing Cena out there right off the top is going to be able to try to hook those casual people that are just scrolling through Peacock, and I think that's a smart move.
I agree. I think that's going to be a great way to open the show. Lots to talk about here. Nick, what match is tripping your trigger the most? Looking at the card, what do you want to talk about next?
Oh man, I know we can go right now with 3 matches that have been announced for night one. We've touched on Austin Theory and John Cena for the U.S. I kind of feel the same way as CZ does. I like the matchup between the two, but I don't think it needed to be for the belt. That's why I was bummed when Theory won the Elimination Chamber. I thought somebody else might have a feud for the U.S., knowing that Theory and Cena was on the horizon, but they're making the right move. The other 2 matches that have been announced for the card, Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control. I'm talking about night 1. But the next match that really trips my trigger, and probably yours as well, Regal, is Logan Paul and Seth freaking Rollins. I'm really excited to see what these two come up with and show us on WrestleMania Night 1. Really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I got excited right away as soon as Logan Paul eliminated Seth from the Royal Rumble, because obviously, when they do that in the Rumble, that's setting it up. The biggest thing is obviously Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins. It's a big time match. It's going to get some mainstream crossover, so obviously a big spot for Seth Rollins. Also, I think this really shows what WWE trusts Seth Rollins as a ring general. They know his work rate. They know what he can do. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to go out there and they're going to put on a banger. I have no doubt about it. Logan Paul, you go back, watch the Roman Reigns match from Crown Jewel.
Mm-hmm.
You knew he wasn't going to beat Roman Reigns, but I was sitting on the edge of my seat on the couch watching that match. I'm not going to lie. I thought that match was absolutely the way they built that match, the way it was put together, just perfectly. I know this is Logan Paul, Seth Rollins. They're going to go out there and absolutely crush this match. Obviously, anything involving Seth, let's be honest, we're all a little biased here, I think.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
But no, this is going to be a banger. So, absolutely.
Knowing go ahead, CZ.
I've talked about it on the show when Logan eliminated Rollins at the Rumble. I was pissed at first. This match had to grow on me, but I know Logan Paul can go, and pairing him with Rollins, I think, is the absolute right move. Like you said, it's going to bring a lot of mainstream eyes onto WrestleMania, and I'm excited. Having watched Logan Paul grow, even though he's only had 4 matches, one of them technically not really a singles match, one being the Royal Rumble. I'm excited for this match. I think it's going to be, arguably, it could be one of the matches of the weekend, especially in the WWE era or universe. I mean,
I'm really excited for the prospect of this match, and I want to laud WWE for doing something right here. Every match that Logan Paul's been in, people have cared. The audience has cared, whether it's for him or against him. And they're doing a masterful job of, when he's in the ring, making it count and putting him in there with people that are just going to make him look better. And growing up, Shawn Michaels was, always considered as Mr. WrestleMania. But I think you have to look at the matches and the competition at WrestleMania, and I think there might be a new Mr. WrestleMania to be regarded, and that's Seth frickin' Rollins, and I think you're going to see why in this match. I really do. I mean, put up his matches with Mr. WrestleMania's matches. I know that there's some great ones there, but man, Seth does not disappoint at WrestleMania.
Funny you mentioned that, Nick, because I'm going to say it. That is the dream match that, unfortunately, of mine, that we're probably never going to see at this point that I wish just one time we could have seen is see Seth versus Mr. HBK, because I know that would have been just HBK in his prime versus Seth right now. I'll say I really think right now Seth's at the top of his game, and those two would have made absolute magic.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, I think their matches would be regarded like Angle's were, the two matches, WrestleMania 21 and then Vengeance that year. Angle and HBK put on two bangers, but I know exactly what you mean. And CZ and I have kind of talked about that in the past. Like, Rollins doesn't get enough credit for his resume and the WrestleMania stuff that he's done, but we'll tout him on this show for sure. That you asked me, CZ, that's the match on night one that I'm really looking forward to, is that Seth and Logan Paul, just because a lot of new eyes are going to be put on Seth Rollins that night. There's tons of Logan Paul fans that'll be tuning in that might not know who Seth Rollins is, but more eyes will be put on Seth Rollins that night. So I think it's beneficial, win, lose, draw, right, wrong, or indifferent. I think it's beneficial for Seth that he's in this, and both guys are going to come out looking like $1 million.
And Nick, you said something that struck home with me. You said that people actually give a shit about this match. I don't think anybody cares as much as they should about the two women's titles match. And that is 100% because I don't feel their build has been anything to write home about. I could take or leave those matches right now, in all honesty. And I'm talking about the SmackDown Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair versus Asuka. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree, but I think the build has just been lackluster for those two matches, and I have no excitement either way. They could happen or they could not happen.
I'm excited because I'm a huge Rhea Ripley fan, and I'm a huge fan of both Asuka and Bianca, so I know that match is going to be a banger. Charlotte will go out there and work her ass off. So, as excited as I am for those matches, because I am a fan of the people involved, I do agree with you, CZ. I do think the build for both those matches has been very underwhelming.
And I agree. I think the matches are both going to be fantastic. I wish that the WWE had given me a reason to care about them. Other than who's in them, other than Star Power.
I feel the same way. Like, both of these matches are great on paper, and they're both going to be great matches to watch. I'm invested that way, but it seems WWE's put all their eggs in this 6-woman match with Trish, Lita, Becky, and Damage Control. They've kind of put all the PR towards that. This could be a really big career turn for Asuka if she beats Bianca. It would also end a pretty long run of Bianca's. It's kind of historic, and I'm really wondering are they going to right the wrong of screwing over Rhea Ripley a couple years ago, and will Charlotte do what's right for business? I don't know, but it seems that WWE is, to me, around these women's matches, it has been non-existent. It's been more around the 6 women, and Rhea has been mentioned more as Dom and Judgment Day than she really has as headlining WrestleMania for a women's championship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said, the 6-woman tag, I get it. WrestleMania, they're always big on the nostalgia spots, and
sure.
Lita and Trish are amazing. Great. I'll say it. Trish was my crush in my 20s. Trish is still my crush today, you guys. Okay.
I met her this summer up in Waterloo, and I'm telling you, she's beautiful. She's beautiful.
She is an absolute delight to talk to. I've had the chance. I've had the blessing to talk to her on several occasions. She is a beautiful woman. She's a delight to be around. And yeah, she has kept herself in amazing shape, and I'm pretty sure she's still going to be looking hot in her 70s at this point. So I get that, but yeah, you guys are absolutely right that they've put more into that match, and it helps that you have Bayley, who I think is an amazing mouthpiece,
yes,
possibly the best talker in the women's division, involved in that match. So I think that's another reason that the match has gotten so much play.
These three women's matches are we talked about the 6-woman tag has got some build, and then the women's titles have gotten some slow build. But I think they've got the best possible matches they can have without swapping pieces or parts. I think they put together the 3 best women's matches they could using the most talent they could. I'm not talking about the tag team match, but your high-profile women's matches none of them are going to be, fluff. It's all going to be good.
Yeah. Now you talked about Rhea having more mention with Dominic Mysterio. That's a great transition into what I think has been the slowest, most methodical build of any WrestleMania match in recent history. I really wish they had announced the match or made Ray cross the line to say, yes, I'll face you at WrestleMania, Dom, a lot sooner than they did. I feel like they were dragging their feet, but I'm looking forward to the match between the two of them. And that's, of course, Ray and Dom.
Yeah, we all knew the match was coming, and I just don't know why they drug it out for so long. That said, I'll say this. As ironically, we were watching an early Dom match Lopez earlier this afternoon tonight before we started the podcast. And if you'd have told me back in the Thunderdome that generic babyface, hi, I'm Ray's kid, Dominic Mysterio, was put into Dom, and again, talk about a guilty pleasure. I just get into everything that this kid is doing.
He's got to be one of the best heels on TV right now because of his antics and what they've been building him with.
He's such a little shithead.
Outside of the bloodline, which is on a different level, he's my favorite thing to watch on Monday nights, and then Gunther, whatever he's doing on Friday nights. But you're right, whatever Dom's doing, and the whole, I completely have lost it since Dom did Hard Time and Graves comes on, and Prison changes a man. I'm like, oh, this is too much, but I love it. And then he's got the teardrop tattoos. I love Prison Dom. I do.
This is it where they went to the restaurant and Dom says, "I'll take a bottle of your finest champagne and your best chicken fingers." That one, and then of course Rhea had to pay the bill.
Oh man, that has just been brilliant writing right there. Kudos to the creative team for making Dominic Mysterio someone that we actually love to hate on TV.
And I hope he keeps the Eddie hair forever. I mean, it looks. It's perfect on him. I just hope he keeps that look forever because, man, every time he comes out, I love it. I'm laughing. That's what wrestling's supposed to make you do, right? It's supposed to laugh. And Dom, they do it with Dom. Prison changes a man,
What superhero was Ray going to cosplay as this year? That's the question I always ask.
Oh, geez.
Ooh.
And he's been Joker.
He's been just about everybody at some point.
He has.
That
is a great question. I'm trying to think of what he could pay homage to, a superhero that's really kind of had it in with his son, and I'm drawing a blank right now because that would be the way to go. Is
yeah, again, I can't think of one off the top of my head. Also,
I can't either.
We mentioned Seth. I also wonder what Seth will have because Seth's had some pretty epic Mania gear over the years. My personal favorite being the Jamie Lannister Kingslayer against Triple H. We'll see. I always love that's almost like the Oscars. You love to see Mania for the ring gear and the entrances.
Oh, the entrances. That's my favorite thing about Mania. Even when I go back and watch the old ones, I don't fast forward the entrances. You got to see. That's the best part about it. I agree. That's what draws me in too.
My favorite still being the Triple H Terminator entrance.
Yes, that was fantastic.
31? Was that 31?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. That
Let's
was
see here.
brilliant. The Cena Chicago entrance where they had the gangsters drive in before he came out, that was fun.
Where,
A lot of great pageantry.
The CM stood for Cena's mobster.
Yes.
I want to. Jeez. Let's talk about another match here that's probably going to be night one, and probably would have been the main event had it not been announced that Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley is closing night one. I'm talking about the tag team match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. That is the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Regal, I want to honestly get your thoughts on this match because I'll give you mine after I hear yours.
So I'm obviously I think like you guys said it, and I'm sometimes down on WWE. The Bloodline is the best thing they've done in years. Everything, I never thought that you could do like Sami Zayn, who was a comedy character, come into this group and then tell this story that is multi-layered, and then like that Royal Rumble ending was just you don't get crowd reactions like that anymore. It especially in WWE, but they did it. They did it with these guys, and obviously the story now is Sammy teaming back up with KO. KO somewhat reluctantly, but now you have Jimmy and Jay on the other side, and I'm just gonna say this, and I've said this since the moment it happened. Jay whispered something into Sammy's ear. What did he whisper? Is there something more than what we've currently... Is there more to the story than what we know? Do we know? I don't know. I guess hope Mania weekend, possibly all will be revealed. Possibly, maybe there might be more after. We don't know yet.
I love this storyline and what they've done. I just... all sign, you shake the 8-ball up, all signs point towards KO and Sammy winning, which is great for Sammy. It's great for KO. But, man, this is ending a historic reign when this team loses. Are these the guys to beat them if they're not going to stay together long? You know what I mean? It almost feels to me like they... Like, I don't have a problem with them beating them, but they're not going to stick together as a team, I don't think, very long after. I mean, what do you think about that?
You can go a couple different ways with that. And here's the thing. Normally, yes, but with the storyline like this, which has gone so detailed and so multi-layered.
Yep.
Even a stickler like me can sometimes say, okay, the rules of a normal wrestling booking don't necessarily apply to this.
Okay.
So if it works for the story, if it's what's best for the story, then you pull the trigger. It's not like, I mean, the Usos have had a historic reign. I mean, it's funny. We were watching, was it an old Survivor Series match at the bar the other day, and it was the Usos with the face paint on and long shorts, and didn't look at all like the Usos we have today. And I said, if you'd have told me back then that one of the guys in that tag team might be the best wrestler in the business today, I'd have said you need to check yourself into a mental hospital.
Right,
but
right.
Here we are. Honestly, Jey Uso might be the best wrestler in professional wrestling.
He's ascended it. It was almost like, when Jimmy got hurt and was home healing, and this is when the bloodline kind of, started back with like Hell in a Cell 2020. They had that match, and I went back and watched it. And for it being a Thunderdome, Hell in a Cell, the dialogue between Roman and Jay, really made that match, in my opinion, and kind of made me like perk up on Jay a little bit. But you're right. To me, he's the star. He's going to be the breakout star when this is all said and done from this. But that tag match intrigues me. They could go several ways with it, but I think Sammy KO is the clear choice here. And if the Usos retain, I would almost be pleasantly surprised just to see, what turn now then? Almost everybody kind of leaning towards the KO Sammy win, but hey, I'm all for an unexpected turn. I like being wrong as much as I can in wrestling, right?
We'll see. You can go either way, and like I said, we'll see where. This is one of those ones where I'm along for the ride. Like,
yes,
I bought the ticket. Get me in the boat. Take me down. Show me the pirates. Chasing, setting the town on fire.
My only hope, with as much momentum as Sammy has gotten over the last few months, coming out of WrestleMania, I hope if they do win the tag titles, he doesn't get swept under the rug. And that kind of, you can kind of feel it on the horizon, but you hope that it's not going to happen, but you kind of feel it not happening at the same time. You know what I mean?
Oh, I hear you, CZ. I hear I know what you mean. I trust that they're going to do the right thing. And, like Regal said, I'm along for the ride. I really don't have any skin on either of these guys. And, like every twist and turn, take me along for it. I'm with it. And I'm looking forward to it on this one. Few other standout matches we haven't touched on yet. And we can kind of go over these next. I don't know if you guys, I really don't care if we discuss the men's and women's fatal four-way showcases. We can talk about them quickly here, but I kind of wanted to get
you mean the let's get a few other people on the card matches?
Let's get 16 people on the card. Yeah. No, I'm right, wrong, or different. I don't care if we discuss those or not. I'm really intrigued. At first I rolled my eyes at it, but then I'm like, you know what? Why not? Brock Lesnar versus Omos. I know why they're doing this. They want to get a visual, right, of, possibly Lesnar F5ing this giant of a man. They also probably want to get the visual of this giant of a man throwing Lesnar around like a rag doll. Is this Lesnar's exit? Or is this goodbye, or is this goodbye for now for Lesnar?
That's the big question, I think, going into this match now that we know that apparently Brock's contract is coming up. And we've heard, I don't know if you guys saw, there was a rumor that Brock basically flew himself in a few weeks ago, came out, did a segment, didn't talk to anybody, and then immediately walked through the back and basically left the arena. Obviously, we know Brock was always tight with Vince McMahon. There's a lot of rumors that Brock and Triple H never had the best relationship, so there's that to consider. And if you're gonna, if at some point you gotta try to make or break almost, and I think this is that moment. If there's gonna be if this guy's got anything at all, it has to be here and it has to be now.
Right.
We're talking about essentially a hoss fight. There's another hoss fight on this show that we absolutely have to talk about. The 100% sure to be a banger triple threat Intercontinental Championship match between Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. If Gunther and Sheamus's matches from last year are any indication, this is going to be a hard-hitting, must-watch matchup. What do you guys think?
Can I give a hot take here?
Absolutely.
Not into this match at all.
What?
No?
After the performance Gunther had at the Rumble, Gunther deserves something much better than this. I honestly don't know, especially if he's leaving. Why do you not put Gunther in there with Brock Lesnar and have him go over?
I think bigger things are on the horizon.
Gunther, dude, you cannot tell me after that Royal Rumble performance he can't be the guy.
But he is going to be the guy. he's going to win Money in the Bank.
You think so?
I think he's going to lose. He's going to lose. I am looking forward to this match because I think these three guys are going to beat the shit out of each other, and it's going to be it's going to be great. I hope it opens night 2 because it'll set the tone for the rest of the night. But I think Sheamus is going to get the win here. He's going to pin or tap out Drew, probably pin Drew. Also, he completes his career Grand Slam, and then that leaves an end to Walter. Hey, I never lost my belt. I wasn't pinned. He's got a complaint. Then the ring general can win Money in the Bank, and then he controls his own destiny. So that's kind of what I've thought for a while. After that Rumble loss, I'm like, you know what? They love this guy. Everything you read about him, they're high on him. They love him. They love him. I think his thing is on the horizon at Money in the Bank.
Okay, Nick, you've sold me a little bit there. I'll give you that one.
Okay. Here's my thoughts on Gunther. He started the Rumble off. He went wall to wall to get eliminated by number 30, Cody Rhodes. Was that a shitty thing to do to him? Absolutely. To have someone just walk in and throw him out, essentially. But that put him as a made man, in my opinion, to go toe-to-toe or to go from number 1 all the way through to the end. He is a made man. He is on his way to the top. I agree with Nick completely in what he has predicted for what's going to happen.
I'll take that. And like you said, I have no doubt that these three are going to beat the living hell out of each other. These guys love hard. It's going to be there's going to be sweat flying. It's going to get insane. We're not doing any goofy stuff with these guys. There's no swords or anything like that. It's just going to be a fight. So I guess, yeah, you guys kind of flipped me on this a little bit, I think, here, but we'll go with that. So I'm okay.
So we've got two more matches on the card. I'm
glad we flipped you on that because I don't think it'll be as good as Clash at the Castle. I mean, that was magic with the crowd and everything. Not saying this WrestleMania crowd won't be magic, but I think adding Drew to it makes it, gives a little twist on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that match. I mean, outside of obviously the whole Bloodline storyline, this match I'm looking forward to a lot. So hopefully we rubbed off on you there a little bit, Regal, and you're looking forward to it now as much as we are.
And was the build a little bit silly for it where they both pinned someone at the same time and then Gunther came in and attacked both of them? Sure. But it tells a good story. This is going to be a hard-hitting affair. And I think this is only going to elevate Gunther even more, being in with two former world champions, holding his own and essentially not getting pinned. I agree. I don't think he's going to get pinned in this match. He's going to lose the title by not being involved in the decision.
I guess I'm looking forward to. I guess I'm maybe you guys are too. I'm looking forward to Gunther losing that match without having been the direct result of it, and like Corey Graves immediately coming to his defense. Gunther's been robbed. He's been wronged. I'm looking forward to that whole angle. I hope it happens, but you're right. The triple threat match, God, I hope it better be on night 2 because we've already talked about 2 or 3 big matches that are already on night 1. CZ, you said we had 2 more matches you wanted to discuss.
Well, there's only 2 more matches on the card as far as I'm looking at it. We'll talk about the big one at the end, but we've got the Hell in a Cell with Edge and Finn Balor. Obviously, this is come full circle from just about a year ago when Edge put together the Judgment Day and then Finn essentially kicked him out. But I don't feel that Finn is in charge of the Judgment Day. I think this is just a redemption story for Edge. I do like a good Hell in a Cell match, but this is not really on my radar as far as one compared to everything else we've talked about. But it's on the card. We can't not talk about it, in my opinion.
Here's what I'm looking forward to in this match. There was a rumor that hit today that apparently Gangrel is possibly going to be involved.
I did see that.
If we're getting some type of a Gangrel Edge throwback to the Brood entrance, give me all of it.
Yes.
Can I tell you my conspiracy theory?
What's that?
I think Christian will show up.
Hey, he does outwork everyone. Who knows?
Well, I mean, he's effectively been written out of the storyline, the quote unquote final burial, right? And this is supposed to be Edge's possibly last run this year in WWE.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe he wants to bring Christian back for his retirement match. I don't know how much time Christian has left on his contract there, but there can't be much there for him left.
Who knows? But yeah, no. If Gangrel is going to be involved, if we're getting,
I hope so. I hope Gangrel is.
Then who knows what they're going to have for Judgment Day with Finn for some type of an entrance. You can see two like over the top crazy entrances here. I have no doubt this match will be good. I will always carry the flag for Finn Balor as just bad luck. Obviously, the shoulder injury. They were going to push him to the moon. The shoulder injury, and then, Vince got a chance to look at him and realize how small he was. Never went back to it. Do we get a Demon King appearance here? This is the question. Now, traditionally, the Demon King doesn't lose except to Roman Reigns. So, as the great John G once said, it's Demon Balor +5 to all stats.
I got a feeling that this will not be the worst Hell in a Cell match in WrestleMania history.
I mean,
no, and when I said I wasn't looking forward to this match, I didn't mean that I'm not looking forward to the match. It just compared to all the other great matches on this show, this one just kind of falls towards the bottom of the list for me. I think it's going to be a phenomenal match. Those two are going to knock it out of the park. And yeah, I think I'm looking forward to it, just not as much as, say, like a Seth frickin' Rollins versus Logan Paul match,
Oh, I get that, but no, this match I think don't sleep on this match. I think we're gonna have a good match, especially if this is Edge's, swan song. If this is where we're going, I know he's gonna go all out. Finn is Finn will do whatever it takes to get this match over. And obviously, you're going to probably have some type of interference, chicanery. You got Beth Phoenix. You have Damian Priest. It's a lot can happen here, but I think it'll be fun.
Now, see, Tim's flipped me on this match. I mean, I love Finn. I love Edge. But like before, I wasn't expecting, or looking for it. Now I'm kind of flipped a little bit. I'm like, you know what? Both these guys are going to go all out. They're both pros, and you're right. I mean, this match won't disappoint. It won't. I think it'll, like you said, don't sleep on it, because I think it's the match that maybe flies under the radar until it actually happens and everybody's going to be blown away.
So I want to ask, before we jump into the main event, Tim, last week we talked a little bit about people who were not going to be on the WrestleMania card. Is there someone that you're looking at who's on a weekly show on a regular basis that you feel should be on the WrestleMania card that isn't?
I'm looking at the card, kind of look. Really, I can't think of anybody who's not on the card that should be, but I'll say this.
Well, did you guys mention Bobby Lashley?
Oh, no, we didn't.
Lashley, not well, because Lashley was due to face
Bray Wyatt.
And Bray has gone away again for whatever the reasons may be. Obviously, hope everything is okay with him. But for me, when I look at that lineup, somebody's on it, but can we, for the love of God, find something better for Ricochet to do? Like, how does this guy?
I know.
You throw him into these spots in the Rumble. That spot with Logan Paul was one of the most impressive things we've seen in years. And then
yes,
go be Braun's little buddy and just do this nothing tag match that essentially is going to be the ultimate piss break match.
I mean, can we scrap this match and put Montez Ford versus Ricochet in this spot?
I mean, yeah, do something. Do something like that. Do a showcase match.
Yes.
Something. Guys. Essentially, all you're going to do with that match is give me a chance to go outside at Lopez and have a quick smoke break. But
yeah, that's it. It's piss break. That's the match everybody gets up and right. You got to think they're going to split these men's and women's matches up, one on one night, one on the other. But yeah, you're right. Why don't you do something more for Ricochet?
Most of the participants, for me, at least in the men's match, are phenomenal performers. The Street Profits are excellent. Alpha Academy has really grown on me. Ricochet, like you both said, do something better than just throw them in here's a match to get you a payday. Do something better than just throwing them in something random. Doesn't mean anything.
They did. This is the men's WrestleMania showcase fatal 4-way tag team match.
The other guy whose name is out there, and we talked about him. We talked about it, how kind of a misstep since he's brought back. You brought back Karrion Kross with so much fanfare, and 6-7 months later, he's not even on the Mania card.
Well, I'm guessing he'll be on the Andre the Giant thing on SmackDown Friday night.
Which the fact that that's on SmackDown.
I know, but yeah, you're right. You're right.
What happened to the push of Bad Cat Boss? Did that last about a month?
Well, yeah, Emma came in, and then it's like, okay. They brought his girlfriend back in, and it's just been nothing.
Yeah.
I'll bring up a big name that should be on the card. That Mr. LA Knight, who by all rights deserves a WrestleMania opponent, in my opinion. He's relegated to that Andre the Giant Battle Royal on SmackDown. Throw other names. We've mentioned, Johnny Gargano. That's understandable with him having the match on Stand and Deliver, but they've given a relatively good push to Bronson Reed. We mentioned that on the show last week. There's a number of names that could be on the card that have been pushed on the main shows that just aren't there.
Yeah, and on one side, yeah, there are guys who deserve to be on the card. On the other side, they've already got the 2 4-way matches. Don't just shoehorn guys in to get them all on the card.
I agree with that for sure.
That was on the pre-show forever is now on SmackDown on Friday nights. But yeah, no, like I said, there are certain people that deserve a spot, yes, but for the most part, I am not a big fan of we have to get everybody on the card to give everybody some shine.
And I'm grateful that there aren't as many matches as there have been in years past, because I don't want to sit through 2 5-hour shows. I mean, I love wrestling. I would do it, but that AEW is notorious for that, and we've talked about that a number of times on the podcast. They just throw matches out to have matches and make the card last so long. I can only sit through a show for so long.
I think I'm going to say right now, I think you're looking at probably maybe. I think this was about what it was last year, where it was 3.5 hours for night 1, about 4 hours for night 2, and I think that's probably where we're heading again.
Yeah,
and I can get behind that.
You would think they're going to do an even split of matches, which would go 7 and 7. So there's a lot of wiggle room there each night. You get your Hall of Fame that you bring out, but and other surprises. But 14 matches in 2 nights is plenty, considering you guys already did a preview show on the Indies and all the matches you're going to watch leading up to that. So I've got no problem with the card size and the way that it is right now.
Yeah.
One more thing I do want to talk about with you, Regal, before we go on to the main event of WrestleMania. There are still, if rumors are true, and there's 5 slots in the Hall of Fame, there's still 2 open. One of them is allegedly going to be a referee. Who do you think fills those 2 slots, and why is one of them Tim White?
Honestly, I hate, as much as I love Tim White, I'm praying it's Earl Hebner. Earl passed away. I really want to see Brian show up to induct his father. Probably Earl Hebner, probably the greatest referee of all time. Obviously, the most notorious referee of all time for being both involved in the Hogan Andre match and then being the referee for the Montreal Screwjob.
That's fair.
And then I always found it entertaining that when they would go to especially when they would do house shows, he would milk being the referee for the Montreal Screwjob for years to come. I had a chance before a show once got to meet Earl, and such a nice guy. So Tim White, though, if for no other reason than those damn Tim White sketches from WWE.com used to entertain the crap. But
that's not wise, Mr. White.
Me and Zach Davison used to watch those over and over and over again. Just, I don't know why they were so funny, but they were. But no.
I love watching those with my nephew. That's one of our guilty pleasures for sure.
And then the other spot, I mean, it could be anybody. It's very interesting to see that we're a week out and don't know the entire Hall of Fame lineup.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
Obviously, for me this year, I am a. You're not going to find many bigger Great Muta, KG Muto fans than me. So, seeing him go into the Hall of Fame is going to be pretty amazing.
Absolutely, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'm like you, surprised that we don't know the entire class of the Hall of Fame, but the names that are already announced are huge, in my opinion. Speaking of huge, we've got a huge main event. Roman Reigns over 900 days carrying the championships, defending against Cody Rhodes. We got a legacy match here with both members or both competitors having rich history,
deep wrestling family roots.
Exactly.
The Anoa'i family, and then of course the Rhodes family. So
I don't know if you guys know this, but Cody Rhodes is Dusty Rhodes' son. They have
what?
But is he the son that Dusty wanted? That's the real question.
The son of a plumber,
if you will.
So here's my thing. Like you said, it's a 900-day reign. But obviously, the gears were set in motion the moment at WrestleMania last year when that music hit. And then I think it was supposed to happen. I don't think it was supposed to wait to go this long. I think it was supposed to happen at SummerSlam. I think the torn pectoral just happened to turn into a happy accident. And I think it was a happy accident, but now I think you've also kind of booked yourself into a corner a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll say it. You have to put the title on Cody. You cannot not have Cody win, because if you do not have Cody win, he is 1991 Lex Luger. You pretty much as Stone Cold Steve Austin says, you cut his water off.
Get him a bus, have him body slam Omos on an aircraft carrier. We're all set to go there then.
He's already got the red, white, and blue gear. So
when you put it like that, Tim, they're this far into it, right?
We've gone 98% of the way. You got to go the other 2%. Cody's got to win. if there was a way to get out of it, to build the bloodline storyline even further, I would say do it. I just don't see any for them to do that and not have Cody come out very damaged on the end.
Oh, you're right. I mean, if Cody, outside of like some major outside interference or something where they're, you're right. Like outside of him winning, what would there be for him, right? I mean, they just have kind of booked it that way.
Yeah, I think you have to put it. That being said, I think this is going to be an excellent match.
Yes,
Cody to do everything. I mean, we've seen the man literally light himself on fire for a match. We've seen him bleed buckets. We've seen him do anything and everything to try to have the best match he can. And if this is going to be his defining moment, he will literally walk through fire, hell and back to get there. And Roman, when he has to, can go with the best of them. I think this match is going to be excellent. I think Cody does win. I think Cody beats the odds. Possibly you do something afterwards to set up whatever is next for the bloodline, or you do it the next night on Raw.
Yep.
But I think I think we go off the air on night 2 with the red, white, and blue confetti coming down. Possibly Brandy jumping the rail. I think you have to go off the air with Cody holding the world title above his head.
I can agree with that. My only caveat to that, I would love to see Roman hold the title until SummerSlam, just if only for the reason that he passes another reign up, like another. I think he would pass Pedro at that point. Pedro Morales.
I think it's
longest title reign.
It'd be 2 months after Mania. Say he retains against Cody on night 2. It would be essentially like 2 more months after that. So it would happen, I think, before SummerSlam. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, worlds are colliding, right? The best thing the WWE's had going with the bloodline and then Cody Rhodes, it's a collision course. And it's been well booked. We say a lot of stuff hasn't been, but give credit where credit is due. They definitely have booked this angle excellent. Go around the room here, rapid fire. Give me 2 or 3 names. We'll start with you.
One more.
Go ahead.
I want to add one more reason to why Cody wins here.
Sure.
Go back to that Hell in a Cell match. That guy walked out there. The second he took that jacket off, everybody, we were at Lopez. Lopez was pre-packed that night. Everybody at Lopez just gasped. Everybody was like, why is he doing this? Why is he in the ring? There's no reason. Basically, the story goes, the doctor basically told him, he said, well, you already completely tore it, so if you can take the pain, you're not going to damage it any further than it already is.
Oh.
Cody went through a level of hellish pain that no human should ever go through, to knowing that the storyline coming out of this was going to be epic. And it did. And it was the first 5-star match from Meltzer in God knows how long. I think since the ladder match at WrestleMania 10, maybe. That alone, the guts that he took, you got to give this guy his moment here.
Oh no, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, there's no disagreement here at all.
Yeah,
I just, for history's sake, my guilty pleasure would be to see Roman walk away with the title just to pass up another major name in the business. But I agree, Cody has to walk out, otherwise. He smells nothing like roses if he doesn't walk out with that title on Sunday.
Yeah.
What before we wrap up here, I wanted to go around. We'll start with you, Tim. Couple names you feel strongly about we'll see getting called up Monday night? Throw a couple names out there.
I'm gonna say whoever loses the NXT title match.
Okay.
Because I think that could go either way. So
Yep.
I'll hedge my bet there.
Yep.
And then, since it'd be interesting since they're not on the card, could we possibly see a pretty deadly call up?
Ooh. Please.
I'll throw one. I'll even throw a third one out there to you because it's a female. The way obviously they see something in her, I could, even though it might be a little early, I could see a Cora Jade call up.
Okay.
Interesting.
I like those prospects. CZ,
so I'm gonna throw a couple names out there. I'm gonna just go ahead and predict who I think is losing the NXT title match, and I think that's Carmelo Hayes, because I think as much as I'd love to see him hold the NXT title, like we said earlier, he absolutely does not need it. He is $1 million, and he is going to do well on the main roster when they call him up, which I think is going to be coming up after Mania. I'm going to throw a wishful thinking name out, someone who hasn't been around NXT for a little while. I'd like to see him come back on the main roster, and that would be Cameron Grimes. Guilty pleasure for me. I think he's brilliant with everything he does.
It's funny you mentioned Cameron Grimes. Have you seen the photos of him recently?
I have. I saw one. Yeah,
he is looking shredded. So
he definitely is.
That's a possibility.
Nick, what about you?
Yeah, I think the loser of the NXT title match will definitely get called up. I like the thoughts of a Pretty Deadly getting called up. Maybe they're saving them for like a run-in or something since they're not on the show this week and just hosting. I know it's not really a call-up, but I mean, I think we're going to see a big return on one of these nights, or maybe on Monday night. Maybe they save the big returns for Monday night. I don't know if we're going to get any more call-ups right now. I just don't. I don't foresee anyone else really getting called up outside of the guys you've already named. I don't think there's really anybody else, quote unquote, ready. Unless you're throwing like an Ilya Dragunov up there, and I think he still has some room to grow. But I don't know if there will be as many call-ups.
There might not.
Nick, you mentioned returns. I'm just going to throw one out there. Are you hearing voices?
I am. I am hearing voices in my head. And it makes me wonder, like, Roman never faced him during this long title run, and then if he's coming back, where does Riddle sit with the plans? Maybe night after Mania?
No, I think Riddle still sits in his lawyer's office.
Is he still serving suspension? Is that still going on?
He's still dealing with his personal life issues.
Okay. Maybe Orton is. I mean, I like the fact that he could come back. He and Cody, if Cody does win, have a past, correct? They've got a past they can touch on. And then if he comes back and Roman is champion, hey, he never had his shot at Roman. So I hope he comes back. One more good run with Randy Orton wouldn't be bad.
I mean, I was having an interesting conversation about Randy Orton today with someone, and they brought up a good point. They said Randy is actually it was I remember now who it was because it's getting late and I'm kind of tired. As Alex McCarthy brought up a good point. He said Randy Orton is a WWE superstar that has cross-market appeal because Randy is a favorite of many different types of personalities. Obviously, like the hip hop community embraces Randy, and I think it all goes back to when the RKO became a meme. Which those things killed me for the life of me. One of my favorite. But no, Randy coming back and being the first challenger for Cody, if he is, obviously with the history of legacy and all that, is very much a possibility. But no, like you said, obviously Randy's getting up there. He's had a long career. He's had a Hall of Fame career, and I would love to see at least one more run, even if he's not as champion, just one more run at the top for Randy before he rides off into the sunset.
Yep. Absolutely. I completely agree. I think he having one more run for Randy, and then first ballot Hall of Famer if there ever was one. That would be excellent.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I know he's his back, he's had surgery, but he's still young enough and he's still in pretty good shape. I almost wouldn't mind if, he took the Undertaker schedule and just did the 6-month-a-year thing. I wouldn't feel shorted by any means of imagination. I would almost rather have that than no Randy at all, right?
No, he's definitely earned that at this point in his career.
Sure,
yes.
Sure. I think we have touched all bases on WrestleMania. Unless you guys, have we forgotten anything? Unless you guys want to go in depth on those men's and women's showcase 4-way matches.
No, we're good.
Oh yes, please. Can we?
No.
No.
Oh man. No, I agree. I'm with you.
Again,
Tim, I want to thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Again, real quick before we go, I'm going to shout out. If anybody out there is looking for a place to watch any of the Mania weekend festivities, obviously, Lopez Pizza is the place to do that. I will be there a lot of the time next weekend. I'll just say that. I'll probably not be there all the time, but I'll be there a lot. So if anybody wants to come, hang out, have some pizza, have a drink, watch some wrestling, just chat, do whatever. Definitely a good place to chill, and it's a place I watch a lot of wrestling, so even not an official. I'm not getting paid for that plug, but I will plug them regardless.
And you can catch a lot of the SCW Pro brethren down at Lopez every once in a while. Tim Regal, Alex McCarthy are there pretty much every Sunday. A lot of guest appearances from SCW Pro stars. You plugged it on the last show, Tim. I'm going to plug it here. We are 2 weeks away as of the recording of this episode from Epic, SCW Pro's biggest show of the year. That is on April 8th at the Bluegrass. It's the Community Center, correct?
Bluegrass Community Center.
Still not used to the name of the new venue, but that should be a fantastic show.
I don't know if you caught it on the last show. I actually caught myself. I almost said the previous venue's name because they got so used to it. But no, the Bluegrass Community Center, great venue, our new home base. Saturday night, April 8th, like I said, one of the biggest SCW Pro cards ever. You do not want to miss this. Hit up at SCW Pro on Twitter, SCW Pro on Facebook, all that other good stuff. I didn't plug myself. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at SCWRegal444. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This has been fun. It's very late, and I got to work in the morning and need to get some sleep. But this was totally worth the lack of sleep I'm going to have. So thank you guys for having me on. It's been a lot.
And no, thanks. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. We absolutely love having you on, and we will definitely have you back on in the future. That is for sure.
Absolutely, Tim. Thank you so much. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next week. Have a great evening.